The food of Tanzania. Number 1, Ugali. You can't really talk about Tanzanian cuisine without mentioning Ugali. Ugali is the staple, the anchor, the national food of Tanzania. There's a saying that if you didn't have Ugali as part of your meal, did you really eat? So what is Ugali? Well, it's basically an almost liquid bread, but it's more of a paste than a bread. A hot cornmeal paste. I'm not selling it very well, but it's pretty good. It takes a lot of physical work to get the consistency right, and it's also pretty calorie dense and filling. You take it in your hand, and you can eat it just like that, or dip it into something, like beans, greens, or my favorite, daga, which are these tiny little crunchy, salty, dried fish. I was supposed to make this video 10 years ago. I know, it's impressive. I've taken putting off college assignments to a whole new level with the old decade-late turn-in. I guess I'm truly talented. Back in 2014, I got the chance to study and serve in Tanzania for a semester. The whole point of our time there was full immersion, so we stayed with different host families and did our best to learn about the language, history, lifestyle, and of course the food of Tanzania. The whole experience changed my life. For one of our assignments, we had to present a project related to our field of study. So I made a video and never finished it, which is actually pretty on brand for a communication major. Well, look at me now. I've completed the project even though I already have my diploma. How honorable. Now let me show you the food of Tanzania. Number 2, Chapati. Chapati is what I would describe as elite. It's made by balling up soft dough, then rolling it out over a flat surface. The flattened chapati is then placed on one of the charcoal cooking stoves found in every Tanzanian kitchen. To complete the preparation, oil is drizzled over the surface of the dough as it cooks. The result is a light, airy, and slightly sweet flatbread that is sort of similar to a crepe or something more savory depending on what you eat it with. You can eat them plain or with your tea and some honey, or if you really want to make the white people happy, Nutella. Needless to say, chapati was one of our favorite foods in Tanzania. Number 3, Nyama. I loved a lot of the meat dishes that I ate in Tanzania. There was meat from ng'ombe, kuku, samaki, and mbuzi. Don't get too attached to the mbuzi.
Wait, what?
I really liked nyama choma, which is when the meat is grilled directly over charcoal. Sometimes this was done in a fire pit, and other times over the smaller charcoal cooking pots. Street vendors would sell meat grilled this way on skewers called mishkaki. Another one of my favorite nyama dishes is Nyama na Wali, which is a flavorful beef stew served with rice. Fantastic. To really complete the meal, it'd be served with my favorite Tanzanian vegetable, called Mchicha. The funny thing about Mchicha is there doesn't seem to be a clear consensus on what exactly this plant is called in English. A lot of times it was grown locally and then cooked with oil. If you're familiar with cooking at all, you know that using a ton of fat and salt is how you make vegetables good. So you can probably imagine how tasty this was at almost every meal. Number 5, Wali na Maharage. Wali, or rice, is a very common element in the Tanzanian diet. The rice and beans in Tanzania were better than any version of rice and beans I'd had. When I got home, I was able to replicate the taste in my own rice and beans with the help of classmates who also enjoyed cooking. The key is to use lots of fresh vegetables, garlic, oil, and more salt than you think you need. Then wait till it's nice and soft before you pour it over the rice. The dish cost like 50 cents USD and was incredibly tasty and filling, especially when paired with a fizzy, stony tangawizi, the absolute best drink in the country. The Stony is a spicy, non-alcoholic ginger beer, and it is a beautiful, fiery beverage that I drank quite a lot. I also drank a lot of Fanta Passion, which tastes way better than the American version for some reason. I also had this porridge stuff. It was aight. This mango beverage, though, was another favorite. Thick, sweet, and tantalizingly mango-y. My best memory of this beverage is drinking it for lunch at Dar es Salaam University.
Ladies and gentlemen, this next song comes from Tanzania.
Number 6, Mandazi.
Malaika nakupenda malaika.
Mandazi is a sweet fried donut. Need I say more? You could find Mandazi on any street corner and it always tasted exactly the same. Like heaven. A close relative of the Mandazi is the vitumbua, which includes a few more ingredients like rice and coconut milk. Also very good. I love sitting down and eating Mandazi and drinking chai, which is one of the greatest hot beverages ever, consisting simply of black tea, a lot of milk, and a ton of sugar. It was commonly served in plastic thermoses like these. I had Mandazi and tea almost every day with the teachers and staff at the elementary school where I worked. I always look forward to it. Number 7. Chipsi Mayai. This dish consists of French fries and eggs deep fried in oil, like a kind of French fry omelet. And it is in fact, as the kids say, fire. It felt like every time we stumbled upon a duka or shop that had Chipsi Mayai on the menu, we all ordered it. I have such good memories of eating this dish either for breakfast before Swahili class or right after for lunch. The dukas would provide a red sauce to eat with it, which at first we thought was ketchup, but it was slightly different in consistency, but very similar. Number 8. Ndizi. Ndizi directly translates to banana, but usually it could be more accurately described as a plantain, prepared by, you guessed it, frying in hot oil. Another sweet treat that we found on the street were these little red things called ubuyu, which are dried baobab seeds. The inside was a hard seed, but the outside was covered with a soft, chewy substance that you could eat like candy. I remember it being very tangy and sour and absolutely loved buying bags of these for like pennies. Number 9. Sambusa is a savory fried dough triangle containing meat. It was a common offering at many dukas and street restaurants, and it was very popular with my fellow classmates. Many people around the world enjoy samosas, which are basically the same thing. So this is one Tanzanian food that we got to keep eating once we got home because it was so common. Unlike something like ugali, which I haven't had since I was in Tanzania. Another food that's found all over the world is a rice-based dish called pilau. I had it for the first time in Tanzania, and it stood out to me as a food that I really wanted to make when I got home because it was so simple and so delicious. In fact, that was one of the most important things that I learned in Tanzania about cooking. It doesn't take a lot of fancy equipment or expensive ingredients to make really great tasting food. What it does take is a good amount of fat, salt, and simple fresh ingredients prepared over charcoal fire. Food prepared this way is always going to come out delicious. Number 10. Coconut. Coconut.